Yo, what is going on, guys? Jay Kwan here, and today we got ourselves a really cool rogue deck that we're bringing into Locos. We got the McDuck Baja Blast that I created. I did take this type of deck to set champs, I believe 2 sets back, and did manage to top 8 with it here. So generally in this type of deck, we just want to be able to bounce all of our opponent's cards to their hand and then rip them away with the Bend to My Will. But we also want to have Clarabend preferably done before that, so that way we can actually draw a whole ton of cards. So the priority for this type of deck is going to be finding that turn 2 ramp in the form of Azurite Sea and Tipo. And then we also want to follow that up with the Muses or even the Grammatala on turn 3. And then on turn 4, singing How Far Ago, being able to ramp us up to be able to get to that level of playing Clarabelle or Bend to Your Will. Right, so having muses is definitely important for bouncing alongside with Mother Knows Best, and Your Welcome is there to supplement more card draws for the opponent, so that way we can get more value out of our Clarabelles. Link in the description down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I believe in this game here, being best out of 3, I will be going first. So let's have a look and seeing what we have here. Hopefully we want to see the Popsicle Bell, because Bell is also nice to also have with the Muses. That way we can sing Mother Knows Best, or even Heffalumps and Woozos. And we are playing against a Ruby Sapphire deck, but a different variant this time around. It is going to be, I guess, like a strength type of deck that utilizes Flynn. Also the Baymax as well from Azurite Sea to be able to heal up characters and gain lore. And they are playing some new cards as well, like the Tinkerbell and also the Scaredy Cat Prince John. So we did manage to start it off first with the Develop Your Brain. Develop Your Brain is a really good first turn card to be able to find your ramp in case you don't get it through the mulligans. And that Mulan is a 1-drop. It does damage itself by having 2 damage when it's played, giving you some damage counters to be able to heal itself up with the Baymax as well. So that Mulan does have 2 damage as of right now, but the opponent will put it on later. He said he just tested out this deck for the first time, so again, there might be some things that he would forget, but we corrected it in this game here. So I was able to find the Bell. Bell is just such a great character to have in this type of deck because this deck does lack board presence because we're singing so much and we're ramping so much and we're not playing too many things until later in the game. So Bell's there to not only be our singer but to also deal with early game threats. As you see there, it reminded my opponents to be able to put the damage counter on the Mulan. And this deck's really cool actually. So we'll hopefully be able to see some cool strategies that this deck has. Alongside with having our Baja Blast. So we are able to play the Teeple. Now Teeple did come in a little late. Unfortunately we didn't have, I believe, a ramp on turn 2. But nonetheless, we are able to ramp, at least it's sooner than later, right? So as long as we get that early game ramp, then it's fine. Especially if we're playing against a slower deck like Ruby Sapphire. We're not going to be too worried because we're not playing in any aggro deck. So the opponent does drop double Flynn. Flynn's a really, really great character in this deck because if the player who has Flynn controls the strongest strength character, they will be able to gain 3 lore at the beginning of their turn. So this Flynn could potentially gain 6 lore if they play a character that has more strength than any of our characters. But it is also a really good target for us in terms of having Muses on board. It will be able to bounce that Flynn, hopefully slowing down the opponent's strategy and being able to get us 1 step closer to bend the opponent after we bounce all their cards back into their hand. So we did play the How Far I'll Go. Unfortunately, in this case here, we did need to hard cast it just because, again, that Teeple came a little too late. And we do want to prioritize the ramp here because, again, like they're not posing too much of a threat just yet. because our Bell is a really good counter against the Flynn. Because again, Mulan does have a 2-3 stat lineup, so all their characters are 2 strength. They're not going to get that lore at the beginning of their turn. Okay, so they are playing the Prince John Scaredy Cat. This is the new card here in Reign of Jafar. It's a 5/5 drop, and it will be able to get 1 damage for every character played on the opponent's side. But that's fine because it actually synergizes very well in that deck, not only for its high strength for Flynn to combo off, but also for Baymax to heal as well. Okay, so we're singing the Mother Knows Best, bouncing that Prince John to be able to just negate the effect of Flynn Rider. And then we're going to hard cast the Bend to My Will, discarding 3 cards from the opponent's hand into the discard. And at this point, now we were able to get the opponent into a top deck mode, but it does look like he top decked Baymax, which will be able to heal Mulan and gain 2 lore. So it's a really, really strong card in this deck. The only downside, of course, is Baymax is a little costly at a 5 drop, and then on top of that, it only has 2 strength. So it doesn't synergize too well with Flynn in this case here, but it is a really good way to gain lore on top of Flynn's lore gain as well. So we play the Azurite Sea, trying to just dig for more cards here. One thing I do like about the Baja Blast deck, for this variant anyway, is that it does function very similar to the traditional Ruby Sapphire deck, because we are playing quite a high amount of cards that be able to find other cards in our deck, such as Develop and Vision of the Futures, Grammatala, and How Far I'll Go. So all these cards here will be able to sort through the deck to be able to find the combo pieces that we need to be able to win the game. Okay, so we're inking the Clarabend, and then we're playing the Mother Gothel. So Mother Gothel comes in, and it's like a Tremaine, so the opponent chooses which character that they want to bounce back to their hand. So he's going to bounce the Mulan back to the hand, which isn't the best for us, because if the Mulan comes back, it does come back with 2 damage. Therefore, Baymax can quest and use its effect to heal that Mulan again. So yes, Baymax does have an enter ability, but also the same ability can happen if it quests. So he plays the Bell and he plays the Mulan. Doesn't choose to quest with the Baymax just yet, because we do have the option of taking it out with the Mother Gothel and the Bell. And it does look like we are also on top deck mode, but we do have a bunch of ink here, so whatever we're top decking, we're just going to be playing right away. And having that Muses set up is very crucial right now, because any song that we were to top deck, we are going to be able to bounce those Flynn's back or even Baymax back, so it does slow the opponent quite a bit. Unfortunately, he did top deck another Baymax, healing the Mulan for 2 damage and then gaining 2 lore as well. But luckily for us, the Mother Gothel does have 4 strength, so if he doesn't play anything that's higher than that, those Flynn's aren't going to be doing anything right now. So our top deck is Grammatala. We will be able to look at the top 2 cards of our deck, picking 1 card and adding it to the hand, and the rest goes to the bottom. And at this point, we are establishing our board presence pretty well. I don't know if this Ruby Sapphire variant does play any Be Prepareds, just because they also want to have cards on their board as well. Okay, so we did get the How Far I'll Go from the Grammatala, being able to sift through our deck once again. And then now the Muses is going to trigger, being able to bounce any character with 2 strength or less. But this also means I can bounce my own card as well if I so choose. So if I want, like I'm doing here, I am bouncing the Teeple back to my hand. And the reason why I'm doing that is because Teeple's not going to do much. It is going to quest for 1, but it's probably going to get challenged right afterwards. So I rather use it for ink. And, you know, bouncing the Flynn isn't going to do too much at all as well, because he is on top deck mode. He does have enough ink to be able to just keep playing that Flynn turn after turn, and he's not questing with that Flynn. So I rather have that ink from the Teeple there. And I do heal the Mother Gothel with a Popsicle. Being able to fuel our discard with Popsicles to hopefully be able to drop a Tamatoa Happy as a Clam to be able to add them back and get our draw engine going again. Okay, so he does play the Scrooge. Scrooge is a really good card in this deck just because of its stats. Again, it has 5 strength. So next turn, if we do not have anything to deal with that Scrooge, he will be able to gain 6 lore from those Flynns. But luckily in our deck, we do play a whole ton of cards to be able to rack to his board, such as Mother Knows Best, How Far I'll Go, we'll be able to bounce some Flynns over, and also You're Welcome. You're Welcome is such a versatile card in this deck. Just because You're Welcome allows you to shuffle back any character, item, or location. And that also includes our stuff as well. So let's just say we have a popsicle on the board that we have no use for. We could technically sing or play You're Welcome to be able to shuffle the popsicle back and then allowing us to draw 2 cards. So really good use of the popsicles there if we don't have Tamatoa. So Vision's going to allow us to look at 5 cards on the top of our deck, adding 1 into our hand and putting the rest into the bottom of the deck. Okay, so we're playing Develop Your Brain, looking at top 2 cards, and does the same thing. So we're adding 1 into our hand and putting the rest into the bottom. Inking that Teeple that we bounced back from the Muses earlier. And then playing a Clarabend. Clarabend's not going to have too much use right now just because the opponent doesn't have any cards in their hand. But Clarabend is a really big body there. So, okay, so Mother Knows Best is being sang by Belle, being able to bounce 1 card, and then Muses is also going to trigger off. So we're bouncing that Scrooge, and then Mother Knows Best, or the Muses will bounce the Baymax back to the hand. And that also means, because we don't have any cards in our hand, Clarabend is going to be able to use its ability to give us the same amount of cards that the opponent has. So it's going to allow us to draw 2 cards at the end of the turn, which is fantastic. The reason why I'm bouncing the Baymax as well from the Muses is just because it is a 5 cost, so it will slow him down, because if I bounce the Flynn, he might be able to play the Flynn alongside with another card. Okay, so he plays back the Scrooge. And the Clarabend, I believe, is a 4/6. So right now, Scrooge is still going to be the highest strength character on the board. But right now, I'd say we are feeling pretty good. Again, like we did establish a board presence. Muses there to set up with Clarabend. And then we also have 2 cards in our hand as well, right? And again, like in this particular matchup, those Flynns aren't doing anything as of right now. They're just sitting there. So it looks like he challenged in taking out one of my characters, or taking out 2 of my characters, simplifying the board state here. Okay, so we're playing a Teeple. At this point, I also just want to have more board presence as well, and also just getting rid of the Teeple out of the hand. Hard casting Mother Knows Best, bouncing the Scrooge once again into his hand, and then Muse is going to bounce the Flynn. And this means that Clarabend is going to allow us to draw more cards at the end of the turn, and now we are slowly catching up and being able to surpass the opponent by having 12 lore now. So we are almost there to game. As long as we can just keep slowing down the opponent turn after turn, I think we will be able to win this one here. And the opponent only has 5 ink right now, so even if he does play B-Prep, he's not going to have enough just yet. So he does play back the Flynn and the Scrooge. And again, this combo can turn around the game quite fast, but I think we do have lethal on board. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we actually have lethal on board. Didn't realize that, so again, like playing the Teeple on the last turn did help. But again, we're just trying to find stuff. Again, it's a casual game as well, right? So I haven't touched the Baja Blast deck in quite some time. But as of right now, yeah, we do have lethal. At this point, we're just playing out our whole hand just to see what we have. And then, let's see. Yeah, the opponent realized that I had lethal as well, so I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just going to quest out for game. Alright, so it looks like a Tamatoa, Clarabelle, You're Welcome, another Clarabelle, and a Muses. So a really stacked hand. So even if we didn't have enough to quest out for game, I believe next turn we still would have had the game there, game win. So that was a pretty awesome game one. We did do everything that we needed to do for a strategy here. We bended the opponent, we gained cards from Clarabelle, so luckily for us, like again, we had that Muses. If we didn't have that Muse, it might not be able to slow down the opponent as fast, but I think, yeah, like in this particular matchup, any character or any opponent that plays a deck that relies on a lot of characters with 2 strength or less, I'm going to try to hard mulligan for that Muse over the Grammatala. Because ideally you want to have the Muse after you play a Grammatala, and then having the Grammatala sing a card, and then having the Muses bounce something. The reason for that is because, again, like if we played the Muses first and then the Grammatala after, and then have the Muses sing, it does leave our Muses vulnerable for a challenge, right? Just because the Muses does have ward, but if it's exerted, the opponent can still challenge it, and it is a very crucial combo piece to be able to bounce more cards back to the opponent's hand, so that way we can start bending their hand away, or even drawing more cards with Clarabelle. So, being the fact that it is going to be best out of 3 now, the opponent will choose to go first. And let's see what we are going to try to find here on our opening hand. Again, ideally, we want to see that turn 2 ramp. We want to see the 4-drop of Grammatala or Muses, and then ideally how far I'll go. And then from there, if I have a pop score bell, you know, we'll keep that too. Or we'll try to find that if we have the rest of our combo pieces. Clarabelle, I don't prioritize too much on trying to find that in the opening hand, just because, again, we have so many cards in our deck that is going to allow us to find the Clarabelle, right? And plus, we play 4 copies of Clarabelle as well, and it can easily be found through Develop Your Brain, How Far I'll Go, Visions of the Future, Grammatala. So, again, we just want to be able to focus on establishing our early game strategy first, and then Clarabelle and Bend we can just find later down the road. Yeah, let me know, you know, what other types of rogue decks you guys want to see here, and I'll be able to build that up for you, and we'll start playtesting some new strategies, because I always find it fun, you know, creating different types of decks and just challenging, you know, different types of strategies there. You know, again, like the meta right now, I feel like even though it is pretty wide open, you are going to see the same amount of decks in your local tournaments, right? Like Amber Steel Songs, you got Diggy Diggy Ho, DKP's Ruby Sapphire, Ruby Amethyst Evasive, Emerald Steel Discard, right? So it's generally all going to be the same types of decks, but it is a pretty wide, diverse meta. Now, especially if you are bringing a road deck like Baja Blast, a lot of times the opponents, they may not have played it before, so it does give you a little of an extra edge. So the opponent starts it off by playing the Mulan. Again, that Mulan is supposed to have 2 damage on there, but he will add it on there, so it won't affect the game state. And then on our first turn, we will play a Develop Your Brain. Hopefully be able to find that turn 2 ramp. Let's see if the opponent's able to find the Flynn to be able to play. Because I think ideally you want to go turn 1 Mulan, turn 2 Flynn, turn 3 Prince John. Okay, so quest for 1. Yeah, there's the damage counters. So we're inking the McDuck, and then we're playing the Sail the Azurite Sea, allowing us to draw a card and then ramp an additional time. So we're inking the Grammatala, and then we're passing here. So no develop, no popsicle. That Flynn is going to trigger, allowing him to gain 3 lore at the beginning of the turn. And again, we did catch that later as well this turn, so all good here. Again, it doesn't affect the game state. So let's see what he does here. So he inks Maximus, which is a really good card in this deck, and plays the Prince John. So he does have a really nice line here of the Mulan turn 1, Flynn turn 2, and Prince John turn 3. Yeah, that Prince John is going to be able to gain a lot of lore from the Flynn because it's at 5 strength. And it does get 1 damage for every character that we do play. But we don't have any steel cards here to ping that Prince John down, so we are solely going to rely on either challenging it, bouncing it with Your Welcome, or Mother Knows Best here. So we're playing the Grammatala, and that's all we can do there. So the Flynn is going to trigger again, giving him another 3 lore at the beginning of the turn. And that Prince John also does have 1 damage on there as well. So this is only turn 3 or turn 4, and he's already at 9 lore. So that Flynn, if it's uncontested, oh man, that thing's gonna run away with the game. Really curious to know, I guess on turn 4, you could play the Scrooge McDuck, and then that'll give the opponent another 5 strength as well. I'm not too familiar with this list, so I don't know what other cards that they want to see, you know, on curve there. But yeah, it does look like we do see the Scrooge. So because there's the Prince John and the Scrooge both on the board with 5 strength, those are going to be a low priority now, because now we just want to focus on getting that Flynn out of the board, right? And it's going to be the easiest thing that we can bounce with Muses, which we have here. So again, this is what I'm talking about, right? Ideally, we want to see Grammatala first, and then Muses, and then we want to sing with Grammatala, and then hopefully having Muses bounce back something. So we're inking the bell, and then we're singing the Mother Knows Best. Okay, great. So we get to bounce 2 cards here. So we're bouncing the Scrooge and the Flynn. And that way it sets it up perfectly to where if he does want, the Prince John can trade with the Grammatala, because the Prince John does have 2 damage on it from previously having Grammatala and Muses being played. But this also sets him up for Baymax plays as well. So he's going to ink the Flynn, plays the Baymax, like I mentioned, heals the Prince John for 2, and gains 2 lore from the ability. And yeah, at this point, he's just going to try to quest for game. There's no point in really challenging the Grammatala here, because he's very, very close to winning right now. He just needs that Baymax to go off a few more times, and he's going to win, right? So he just needs 6 more lore here. Okay, so we are singing once again with Grammatala. How far I'll go, looking at the top 2 cards, inking one of them Exerted and adding the other one to the hand. And now Muses is going to bounce the Baymax back. And again, we're choosing Baymax over the Mulan because Mulan's a 1-drop, Baymax is a 5-drop. So Baymax, he's going to have to spend a whole entire turn playing it. It can heal the Mulan still from its enter ability, but he can still use that same ability if he quests as well. So again, it doesn't matter. I'd rather choose the Baymax. So we do play Popsicle, drawing us a card, setting us hopefully for Bell plays and maybe Tamatoa plays as well. Playing a Visions of the Future, letting us dig for more cards. Let's see. That Prince John's so good. 5/5. That thing can usually trade with 2 things. But I'm curious to know the uninkable count in that Ruby Sapphire deck as well, just because, you know, Prince John's uninkable, Scrooge is uninkable. Okay, so we're hard casting the Mother Knows Best, bouncing the Prince John, and then the Muse is going to bounce the Mulan. So now we just totally got rid of their whole board, which is great for us. So I'm debating whether or not to quest with Muses, just because, again, I'm not too sure if he plays Maui, Hero to All, because Maui would take it out in one shot. Also, he could also have Goofy as well, Super Goof. And if he challenges in, he's going to gain 2 lore right away. Okay, so he plays a Mulan. And he has enough to play the Mulan and the Baymax, healing the Mulan up and gaining another 2 lore. So he's only 4 lore away here. So all he needs to do is heal Baymax once, request out once with both characters, and maybe throw in like a Super Goof in there later. Okay, so we're singing You Are Welcome. Thinking here on wanting to be able to control the board a little bit more. So I'm going to shuffle back the Baymax, and then the opponent's going to draw 2 cards. I was debating on shuffling the Popsicle back on our side of the board to be able to draw 2 cards as well, but I think Baymax is just the priority here, because Baymax is going to, again, like gain him lore turn after turn, right? But I believe he does play 4 copies of Baymax, so the chances that he could just very well draw the Baymax back is very high. But we do have the Clarabend now on the board, so that's going to allow us to draw a whole ton of cards. I think we're drawing like 6 cards here. 7 cards. We drew 7 cards from Clarabend. That's insane. That's like a whole new world right there. But we'll see. We'll see if we can catch up here. Because again, like the opponent is 4 lore away. Okay, so he plays the Mulan again. And yeah, he probably has a Baymax, doesn't he? Yep, he plays another Baymax, gaining him 2 more lore. Now all he needs is a Super Goof to finish the game. Man, I'm really loving our opponent's deck here. Just the synergies are so awesome. I wonder if there's any way to maybe put Grandpappy in that deck as well, because Grandpappy also has a similar ability for whenever you heal a character, you gain that much lore. And at this point, like, if we do have another Mother Knows Best and we bounce that Baymax, and then we bounce the Mulan, he's just gonna keep playing them, right? So we really need maybe You're Welcome to be able to shuffle that Baymax back into the deck. But again, the only downside is that he could very well just draw the Baymax again. So we're playing a Popsicle, just digging for some cards here. Another thing is that we could bounce both Baymax and Mulan and then play Bend to My Will to just be able to rip the whole entire hand away. And I think that's what we're trying to go for here. Because I know that I did play You're Welcome. I could, you know, shuffle back the Baymax, but I'm choosing to shuffle back the Popsicle instead to be able to draw 2 cards. Because again, that was kind of the game plan that I figured could very well get us back in the game, is to bounce both the Baymax and the Mulan, and then Bend to My Will to rip those cards back, right? Because again, if I play the You're Welcome, he could very well just draw the Baymax again, and then play Mulan Baymax and win the game, right? But because now I have a exerted Grammatala, all he needs is a Super Goof too, so. Okay, so we're singing the Muses for How Far I'll Go. Again, just digging for that bend. Bouncing the Mulan back. So now we know for a fact there is a Mulan and a Baymax in his hand. So at this point, it's Bend to My Will or bust. But I'm having fun, you know, just sifting through my deck here, comboing off. And again, like at the end of the day, if I get Ben, I get Ben. If I don't, I don't. Sometimes you just gotta gamble your way through, right? And just get really lucky here. So I'm gonna sing the You're Welcome again, throwing that Popsicle back, and let's see if I can get that Ben. We have a whole ton of cards in our hand too. Okay, so we are using 2 inks, so my guess is that we didn't get the bend here, and at this point, it will probably just be GG for game 2. Because yeah, there's just no way to actually get rid of that Mulan and Baymax. And I think if the opponent did have Super Goof in their hand, they would probably just show it to me. Yeah, we're just throwing everything on the board, and then maybe, just maybe, our opponent will forget the Mulan Baymax, but probably not. So here we go. We got the Mulan, and we got Baymax for game. So looks like it's 1-1. Now we are entering the game 3 here, and because I lost, I will be taking the play. That was a pretty cool game though. I like to also like have the like rogue decks that I'm playing against be able to showcase what they like to do, and being able to see that Flynn go off with Prince John and Scrooge is pretty cool. And then having that Baymax just finish off the game. Just new strategies, right? The deck can be pretty insane too, like with all that lore burst. I wonder if they even play Pirate's Life. At this point, I don't think the deck plays Be Prepared. But man, Pirate's Life seems pretty good in that deck. And Maximus as well. And then also the new Tinkerbell. I think Tinkerbell, the new Tinkerbell is if you play a character that has 5 strength or more, you can exert it right away. And I think you gain 2 lore or something for it. So there's just so many ways to gain lore in that particular Ruby Sapphire variant. So I would like to see a little more combos with that deck. I wouldn't mind if I actually lost to that, because that's a pretty fun deck. Sometimes I feel I feel a little toxic playing Ben because it is a feel bad moment for the opponent sometimes, especially in a high stake tournament, right? But at the end of the day, you know, don't hate the player, hate the card design. Discard's just degenerate in general, right? But at the end of the day, it's a part of the game, and you know, you kind of have to just deal with it, right? And whether, you know, you're playing a discard deck or playing against a discard deck, it's a part of the game, so you can't really do much. You just kind of have to just go with the flow, right? You got to be able to make a deck or play around different types of strategies. So, you know, again, usually if let's say I'm playing against an Emerald Steel deck, and you have like maybe a Ruby Amethyst deck, you're gonna want to be able to try to find as much card draw as possible, right, to mitigate that. In this case here for Ben, you know, being the fact that it rips your whole hand away, and I am playing a Sapphire deck, I'm gonna try to ramp as hard as possible, get rid of as much cards in my hand as possible to be able to top deck, and hopefully have enough ink to just keep playing stuff turn after turn. So we did see a really nice turn 1 play here. We did play the Popsicle and then play the bells. So now our bell is going to be able to sing Mother Knows Best if we really need to. And I believe we do find the turn 2 ramp as well. So we are playing the Sail the Azurite Sea. Inking the Grammatala. And then curving off with the Popsicle. Very nice, very nice. And then playing another bell. So looks like our hand was pretty cracked. Got double bell, double Popsicle, double sail. Yeah, I'd say that's like what we like to see in the beginning of the deck. And hopefully we can follow up here with like a Grammatal or Muses into a How Far I'll Go. I'd say this particular Baja Blast is quite linear with its strategies on what it wants to do. Because really you just want to ramp early game and then discard your opponents and then just play a bunch of characters with 2 quests. So luckily for us, like in this deck, we are playing Scrooge. Scrooge is also a very, very good counter to the Flynn Rider, just because Scrooge has 5 strength as well. So it's going to cancel a lot of his Flynn Rider abilities because he's going to need something stronger than our Scrooge. So Scrooge is going to sing, Muses is going to bounce the Flynn. So we're just seeing everything here that we want to see using the Baja Blast deck here. And then Bell's going to quest, putting us to 5. I'd say this is a pretty solid start. Okay, so he inks the Super Goof. Challenges into the bell. That means the Prince John has 4 damage on him, so any other character that we have will be able to take out that Prince John, right? So we play one more character, that Prince John is gone. So he plays Grammatala. Okay, so look, that looks to be his other 4-drop character that he plays. So he plays Scrooge, Super Goof, and Grammatala. I feel like the deck can be a little wonky because not every character is going to have high strength. So, you know, you have like Grammatala, Super Goof, Baymax. All these characters have very low strength. So Grammatala is great though for trying to find your high strength characters to be able to combo off there with Flynn. So I believe we have six ink right now, so we are in Bend range. We are in Clarabend range. So let's see what we do. I think this might be the part as well where, so I have 2 cards in my hand right now, and I believe one of them is Clarabend, and then the other one is Hades. So Hades is a card that I tested out at just 1 copy. Just to get rid of that Maui Half Shark right away, because I don't really want to bounce Maui Half Shark back to their hand in those types of matchups. So I teched in 1 Hades for that. But after this game, I did fine-tune the deck a little bit, and I realized that the new card is just so much better, and I believe that card, it's a 7 cost. It was the, let me just have a look here. Yeah, it was the Basil. Yeah, so Basil was a good replacement for that Hades. So this Basil has the ability is when it's played, you may return a chosen character to their hand, and when Basil quests, you can discard a card at random. So, and it's inkable as well, same cost as Hades. So, yeah, Hades can go out, Basil can come in, and in terms of any other changes I would make to the deck, I think it's pretty solid as is. But this deck definitely struggles against, you know, Amber Steel aggro and any other aggro decks if you don't have muses. Alright, so the opponent played the Tinkerbell, exerting stuff, I believe? No, not yet. So he just played the Tinkerbell, and let's see if he plays something to exert for Tinkerbell to gain him some lore here. Our Clarabend, wow. It's pretty strong right now. Our Clarabend can potentially trade into 2 characters as well. So he plays a Scrooge. Is he going to exert the Scrooge? Okay, so he's not going to exert the Scrooge. He's going to trade into the bell with his Grammatala. And he passed his turn. Interesting. Okay. So again, we are still in a really good spot. Muses does hit the Tinkerbell Flynn right now. And if we see You're Welcome, that's only going to benefit us having the Clarabend on board as well, so we don't mind giving him more card draw. We do play out the Popsicle. And we're playing another Muses, so we have double Muse. So now we can bounce 2 of his characters. So all we need is a Mother Knows Best, and we can essentially clear out his whole entire board and just keep control of this game. Okay, so our muses are gonna sing the You're Welcome, shuffling the Scrooge back to the deck, and he's gonna draw 2 cards from that. And the strategy right now is just to empty out our hand as much as possible to be able to maximize on the value that we get with Clarabend. So Muse is going to bounce both of his cards back to his hand. And we are going to play Develop Your Brain. Inking the Heffalumps and Woozles. And questing for 4, taking us to 12. And we pass turn and we're drawing a whole ton of cards again. I think we have 8 cards in total in our hand now. So super healthy hand. And we have a whole ton of ink as well. I think our opponent is cooked here. There's not too much that he can really do at this point. Plays the Tinkerbell. Plays the Prince John Exerted, gaining him 2 lore. Had to read that Tinkerbell again because it is a new card. And he passes turn. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lore right now on board if we quest out with everything. Putting us at a favorable 18 lore. 2 lore away from winning the game. So we're playing Sail, drawing us a card. Playing a Bell, very nice. Man, I would get punished so hard if that deck actually plays Be Prepared. I really don't think they do though, but you always gotta just watch out for that. Especially in Ruby decks. Okay, so we're inking 2 cards. Playing that Tamatoa, giving us back both Popsicles from our discard, allowing us to reuse them. And then giving us more targets for You're Welcome if we want to shuffle any of those back as well. So playing the Popsicle, drawing us a card. And playing us another Popsicle, drawing us another card. Playing that Bell. On the bright side, even if in that slim chance this deck does play Be Prepared, and he wipes our whole board, he still would have wasted a whole entire turn doing that. And we do still have a decently sized hand, so that means whatever that we're going to play is going to be able to have lethal, right? Because we're at 17 lore right now, so we only need to play 2 characters. And looks like he scoops it up. No B-Prep. Well, that's a really cool matchup here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments down below if there's any decks that you want to see next. And stay tuned until the next one. All right. Peace.